Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. It's wonderful having you with us. 2 Bahamians among the 16 injured in that crash in Rock Sound, Eleuthera, involving a tour bus. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands confirming outside cabinet this morning that the 2 are in stable condition at the Princess Margaret and Doctors hospitals. Some of the injured Americans were taken to the United States via military aircraft yesterday, the others today.
The seriously injured patients, 6. We had just a phenomenal response from the team on the ground, EMS in Eleuthera, from the doctors and nurses on the ground in Eleuthera, from all over southern and central Eleuthera, air ambulance, the U.S. Coast Guard. We also had a phenomenal response from Princess Margaret Hospital, Doctors Hospital, EMS on the ground here. It demonstrated an absolute fine example of what teamwork in the setting of a mass casualty event. We don't want to see this type of thing, but we do know that certainly our teams are capable of handling it.
Citing the Broward Rescue Unit, U.S. reports note that the seriously injured suffered arm and leg fractures, internal injuries, and possible paralysis. The patients were all said to be conscious and talking to paramedics. Such news comes as the local tourism industry continues to ride high on its success. Citing the Broward Rescue Unit, U.S. reports note that the seriously injured suffered arm and leg fractures, internal injuries, and possible paralysis. The patients were all said to be conscious and talking to paramedics. Such news comes as the local tourism industry continues to ride high on its success. Though extremely concerned, Tourism Minister Dionisio Diaglo expressed optimism that the incident won't negatively impact the #1 industry.
I don't think so. I think this was just a genuine accident. I think a vehicle, for whatever reason, the driver lost control of the vehicle. We don't know why yet. And it was just an accident. That's just what it was. Accidents happen. And obviously we try to take as many steps to mitigate these accidents, but I don't think that this will put a blemish or a black mark on the destination. I just think it's an accident that can happen to anywhere at any time to anybody. So, and thankfully there were no fatalities, and hopefully everybody is getting first-class medical clear to try and rectify any injuries that they incurred.
32 people were said to be on the tour bus when the driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle and overturned in Rock Sound. In news from Parliament this evening, debate on the 2019-2020 budget continuing in the upper chamber, with Senator Dion Folks giving an account of the Ministry of Labor's successes and challenges over the past 12 months and its concentration moving ahead. That includes the trade disputes filed. In 2018, that figure stood at 924.
465 were resolved, while 305 are pending. 47 were withdrawn, and 107 were referred to the Industrial Tribunal for their deliberations. In the Family Islands, in 2018, 283 disputes were recorded with the Department of Labor. 102 were resolved, and 164 are pending. 8 were withdrawn, and 9 were referred to the Industrial Tribunal.
A look at the first quarter of 2019 put that number here in New Providence at 245 disputes.
109 were resolved, 82 are pending, and 21 were withdrawn, and 33 were referred to the tribunal. In the first quarter of 2019, in the Family Islands, there was a total of 85 disputes filed. 95 were resolved, 49 are now pending, 2 were withdrawn, and 9 were referred to the tribunal.
Senators also heard how since the launch of the Labor on the Block, 1,600 people have been successful in finding jobs. The program's to be expanded to address job vacancies in the maritime sector. Still on news from the labor scene, a threat to lock Morton employees out the Inagua salt plant has only further infuriated the union, whose president Jennifer Brown condemned such a move as doing neither party any good, but rather only frustrates the process and workers. workers. Morton execs threatened as much last week after reaching an impasse with negotiations for a new industrial agreement. Now, Morton contends its latest proposal of 1.5% was its final and best deal, but that the union was unwilling to meet at the table in good faith. Ms. Brown says otherwise, charging in a June 20th letter that after exceeding Morton's budget by 799 tons, the union was eager to get back to the table for a counter-proposal. Still, the union opted not to attend monthly meetings as nothing was being accomplished. Ms. Brown making it clear that when the company decides to give workers what is due to them, the union will be willing to return to the table. Well, Minister Folks today reiterated the call for the two sides to refrain from any action that could affect the plant's operation.
Both management and the union have agreed to halt any anticipated or proposed action. From the union side, they have agreed not to engage in any industrial action. On the management side, they have agreed to hold off on any potential lockout of the plant. We're trying to set up a meeting as soon as possible. The lead negotiator for Morton resides in Chicago, and we are trying to confirm a date that's convenient for Ms. Obie Ferguson, who is the lead negotiator for the union.
The minister plans to meet with the two by next week in hopes of hashing out a resolution to the standoff.
And I want to emphasize that this is a top priority for the Prime Minister. This is a top priority for the government to have the matter at Morton Soil settled. Inaugural Matthewtown is a one-company town in terms of the economic activity there, and we want to ensure that the livelihood of all of the workers, the residents, is secured at Matthewtown.
You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.